Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mage,
And this is Redkeekee.
and I'm starting in the bottom left corner here. We have Worpex playing Undead as the color green. He is the head admin for FML, actually, and has been playing free-for-all for a very long time. In the top left, we have Flame Skynet, known best for towers and being a solo player, but he's getting back into free-for-all, and we'll see what he pulls off today. In the top right, we have Persuade, who played random and managed to get human. I've got some inside information that he might be planning to play human in his qualifier match, so this will be a good introduction to him. And in the bottom right, we have Renaud, who has already played his qualifier match and played a great game. Unfortunately, he did not win. He is also an FML admin as well, though.
And by the way, we're casting a game on Deathrose here.
This is Deathrose. It's a map that we haven't seen in the actual FML map pool for a while. However, it's a very balanced map. There's an equal number of expos, and most likely we'll see somebody say either clockwise or counterclockwise in the chat at some point. This will be referring to which way they should expo. Each person will get two, unless somebody decides to screw it up a little bit, and then that'll make it more interesting. In addition, there is a fountain of mana in every person's base and a fountain of health in the middle of the map. And it looks like Renaud is going with a Warden first. That's kind of been his style recently. Worpex does not have his altar finished yet, but he'll probably be going for a Crypt Lord. He's a bit known for that. Flame is opening with a standard Archmage, which you really can't go wrong with on this map. And Persuade appears to be doing the same as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the creep patterns on this map. What do you recommend going into your very first free-for-all match on Deathrose?
I think it really depends. I think getting the spawns at 12, 3, 6, or 9 are the most important. Those are going to have more gold and going to be more vulnerable later on because they're further away from your base. I play Elf, actually, and I like to do an Ancient of War opening that's close to the Expo, which allows me to creep it with the Ancient of War and then follow that up by either the Marketplace or the shop. Renaud, interestingly enough, is going for his Fountain of Mana first with the Ancient of War. It'll be interesting to see if he continues to uproot it and go for his natural exposition with that, or if he continues to plant it back down and pump archers, which is probably the smarter move at this point.
Yeah, this map is relatively difficult to creep with only one archer. Most of the creeps are pretty tough. There's lots of things with poison, like the spiders, that will just mangle your low hit point units, although Renaud probably is looking to replenish his mana frequently and just nuke the crap out of the creeps with his favorite SS/Fawk method here. Looks like Persuade here is going to be going for a fast expansion over on the right. He's bringing his militia down, trying to do the aggressive thing here and take a side expo first instead of the close natural. I really like this play in human, especially when you're playing, when you're planning to play an aggressive game, as I think he is. He tends to, show aggression early on, play for the gold advantage, the food advantage, goes 80 quickly. A lot of the MAGA style play I expect to see from Persuade in this game. And this is an excellent way to start it.
And as I was saying earlier, you can see people talking about which way they're going. Warpex may or may not be trying to... Okay, he's not actually going to try and take the Renaud's Expo, so that's interesting enough. But another point for Persuade here is this will get him a very quick level 3 and level 2 Water Elemental, which the creeps in the middle are not that hard to take, especially these two. With a couple of level 2 water elementals, and if he heals up and draws it back to the middle health, then he'll be able to.
Like the top left, we have an epic fail from Flame.
Yep, Flame unfortunately has his footmen going down quickly. He did a good job managing to save 4 there, though. I did not think he was going to manage that. However, he's not going to be able to take this creep currently, I do not believe.
Yeah, another reason for Persuade's creep over to the right was probably the lack of purge and his melee units not wanting to fall fate to the same issue that we just saw for the purple human.
And Worpex is managing to get his down, but that's mostly due to the fiends. He had 5 carrion beetles going into this, and they've gone away to the purge as well. It's a very summon unfriendly creep spawn. Renaud has done a nice job of 1 archer, warden, and Ancient of War creeping this. He's gotten his expo up, and he'll be able to put the AOW down and grab some more archers. It'll be interesting to see what his next move is.
thusly proving what I had to say about having only one archer, making it difficult. Entirely wrong. Looks like he's picking up his panda already down the bottom right, leftish. What do you expect his final hero combination will be here? Elf is sort of one of the races that's the most unique, has the most unique options available to them. Most races sort of fall into the same rut each time. But what do you see from Renaud here?
I think he will get a Keeper of the Grove. I would not be surprised to see an Alchemist, though. This is a map with a fair amount of creeps, and he can easily try 6 heroes. With 2 humans on the map, an Alchemist with Transmute would be pretty much invaluable when added on top of a high-level Panda. It would take tanks pretty much out of the game, and that's something that as a Night Elf you really need to think about.
Absolutely. Let's see how Persuade fares against the Purging Dragons up here with his 3 Footmen and level 2 Archmage. I'm a little skeptical. Flame, on the other hand, in the far left, is deciding that he'll follow Persuade's lead with his map hack. Just kidding. And creep with the militia just as he did prior.
And Persuade is picking up a Panda second. And here come the militia. He should have this without too much difficulty, I think.
Yeah.
I do not agree with trying to tank the water elemental, honestly, though. I think he should move that back, and it would save it. Looking over here, Worpex is already level 3, so he's got the best jump so far, except for maybe Renaud. He's trying to take out this red creep early on, and it's going pretty well for him. Loses 1 Fiend, but the Broodmaster goes down. Unfortunately, he only got an Ice Shard out of it. Usually you'll see players kind of kite this back towards the center health fountain in order to not lose units like this. I'm not sure if that was by design or just didn't think about it. Looking down here, Renaud has brought his Ancient of War down as well. He is really getting his money's worth out of that. He's still only got 2 heroes and 1 archer, but he's successfully creeping his second expansion here. Here comes the Wisp to go ahead and put the Tree of Life up. And he's managing to make this look fairly easy. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Ancient of War moving towards the marketplace currently, as that will be another perfect opportunity for him to use it to tank.
Absolutely. It looks like Persuade's going to get his second expo down first out of the whole crew here. Interesting fact, if you noticed in the replay afterwards, you might be worth noting for those. He did an excellent job of what hopefully... No, Flame hasn't quite figured it out yet. It's interesting. The an important thing to know about the Thunder Lizards is that they stomp when you have, I think it's more than 3 melee units within range. So as you saw, I can't remember. It's a proximity. There's a certain number. I'd have to check it. Okay. But if you go back the next time you look at this replay, everyone, if you check out Persuade's creeping, he had 2 guys on, two melee units up against 1, 2 against another, and then he had his militia creeping the small dragons that don't stomp. So the stomp has to do with proximity of units. So that's why Flame had such a difficult time creeping that camp. Is because he had all of his melee units up against the thunder clapping dragons, lizards, whatever the heck they are, at the same time.
It's a pretty interesting little factoid. Interestingly enough, looking at this, Flame has actually gone counterclockwise as opposed to clockwise, so Worpex is screwed out of an expo currently. And in addition, nobody has crept this expo. So I think that whoever manages to scout first, Worpex is going to have to try and break out against Flame, most likely, because he has broken the kind of honor and truce among free-for-all players, and as such will deserve the attack. But Persuade, if he gets ambitious, could decide to put up a third expo over there if he realizes that it's open currently. And I would not be surprised about that, and that would allow him to have a massive gold advantage and try and take out one player.
True. Do you suspect that maybe Flame just didn't even notice the fact that they were talking about counterclockwise? I'm not sure of this player because I haven't seen too much of him, but how experienced is he with free-for-all? Do you think it's possible that he could have just not even known that they were talking about the direction in which you expand?
I don't think that part is possible. It would not surprise me if he wasn't paying very much attention. However, he has also played in a couple of seasons of FML. He's got a fair amount of experience behind him.
Looks like the Rude Awakening for Worpex comes in here. Yep. He's going to try and take out this tower. The Beetle is taking there. Looks like He's going to call an angry WTF mate at him and attack the towers fervently. Looks like Flame is preoccupied on the top right with only a couple footmen, so I think that Worpex is going to have no problem taking this expansion down.
Yep,
It's going to be interesting to see where it goes, yeah.
Yeah, if Flame wants to counter him and try and push back at him, or if he realizes his error and just lets Worpex take this. It does appear Flame actually has no idea what's going on, though. So, apparently I was incorrect about that. Despite his few seasons in FML, he may not have played this map and known what they were talking about. Persuade is coming in here. Up here comes the Expo on top of Worpex. And, let's see, 41 versus 36 food with the Beetles. Worpex should be in good shape here. He also has two summons.
Micro correctly.
Yep.
Looks like no defend. These footmen are just going to go down one after another. One down, two to go. They're in the red and the yellow. There goes one more. Down to last one. The Archmage being ignored wisely. Worpex is coiling that fiend. It's still alive. Killing a footman. There's only one footman left. Now the peasants. Interestingly enough, he's not going to go for... he's going for the summons here. The summons grant a lot of experience. This is wise, moving his fiends back nicely. The peasants are joining in the attack here. But this battle looks all but lost for Flame. He's going to just kite back here, get his fiends out of attack range. But we do have two more footmen coming in. They're joining the fight, starting a tower in near the expansion there. It looks like he may have to retreat for now. Some excellent pathing micro there, but that fiend did manage to get away.
And the Death Knight has enough for one more coil, so it's not quite as desperate as it was a few moments ago. Going back to attacking the water elementals, not only do they give a lot of damage, but they have far and away the most attack. The footmen are only dealing 12 or 13 damage, and the water elementals are in the 30. They're called Water Torn for a good reason. They do piercing damage, and they do a lot of it. The Beetles, by comparison, only do 15 to 18, so Worpex going after the water elementals was the correct choice in that situation.
Yes, absolutely. I think that when the footmen have no... while the footmen have no defend up, there might be a wiser choice at the very beginning of the battle, just because they go down, they permanently stay down, and while they only do 12 points of damage, normal versus the medium, I believe it's called, I don't even remember. Yeah, medium armor of the fiends becomes a little bit of a problem. But Flame's bringing his militia down here to fend off this attack. Those beetles are looking quite monstrous right now. But this encounter is all but over, I should say. Far but over.
And Flame actually just stunned a beetle. I'm not sure if he intended to do that, but that was a little bit
may have been a
instinct.
misclick.
I believe it probably was. And in addition, Worpex has actually burrowed a beetle here, which will continue to give him line of vision, and is a great move. People really don't appreciate the Crypt Lord very much, but the beetle's ability to scout is pretty invaluable for Undead until you get shades, and then it becomes a little more useless. Looking over here, Renaud has managed to move on to the harder and hardest of the creep spawns here. He picks up a Death Mask on his Panda, and he also picked up the Keeper of the Grove third, which is what I suspected, although I still would have liked to see an Alchemist, purely for the fact that I think it would make an interesting third hero with this combination.
Yeah, I agree. The Keeper of the Grove is a solid choice. It's really helpful when focusing down with the Chippo army that Renaud is so fond of. It's really just quite invaluable. He's getting a lot of direct damage. I mean, we saw him he was able to take down that Hydra with no problem with only a couple heroes and a few fairy dragons. So looks like we have a little altercation here. He's going to try and focus down the Archmage. The Warden is rather low already. He's been nuked. And the entangling and focusing down the water elemental again. A lot of summon focus here. Over on the left here again, we've got another big altercation here. There's a lot of fiends, a lot of beetles. The statues join the fight. Mountain King. The towers are chipping away. Hopefully, that Arcane Tower should really be focusing a hero trying to sap some mana. I'm not sure. There we go. Now it's on the Death Knight.
Yep, that's a proper choice there. And it can also focus a beetle.
Yep, absolutely. Deals extra damage to summons and drains mana from heroes. So ultimately, very good to make sure that your arcane towers are focusing something useful. Looks like Flame rather is just going to give up on that expansion, and Worpex is just going to take it. Yep. You can has, he says.
And Flame has already started putting up his other expansion over there, so that's not a huge deal for him. Looking towards here, Persuade is going to grab the last of the red creeps here, so that brings the tally up to Worpex getting 2, Renaud got 1, and Persuade actually could lose. Nope, there we go. Nice save on the Archmage. I was really curious if he was going to lose that. So presuming he does manage to kill this, which is far from certain at this point, Persuade will snag the last of the red camps. And here's a little kiting back to the middle. Which, definitely a good choice. You can always go back and attack again. One of the advantages of having the water elementals is you can keep summoning them, and when they get eaten by the Hydra in the middle there, it's not nearly as big a deal as it is for other races.
He is doing his Persuades is using his favorite of the human hero combinations. Not seen all too often. Substituting the Mountain King for a Pandarian Brewmaster is not necessarily the most ethical of choices, but it does prove to be quite effective for Persuade in the past. Lacking the stun can be a bit of a problem against things like Starfall and Blizzard, but the AoE damage and the miss chance versus in air battles and on chims when trying to protect your tanks is just quite invaluable. So I really like that choice myself. I hate Mountain Kings, so all in all, very proud of that choice.
Yeah,
I think Persuade's going 80,
especially in this matchup. I think it's a really good choice. Without the Orc to have to stun the SH or the Tauren, the Panda is going to prove to be more useful. I think, as you pointed out, the tanks are really hard to focus down without something like having your Panda to take it down, and there's going to be Chippo and Gargoyle, which the Panda will just love to feed off of.
Absolutely. This looks like an elf.
Yep.
This looks like an elf army using Spellbreakers and Siege Engines, which are basically not attackable by any of the typical Chippo army units. This looks like it's geared to go towards Renaud. I can't really see it in the other way right now.
Yep, I've got to agree, especially because Renaud is still at 49 food currently. If he doesn't scout this soon, he could be in serious trouble. It'll be interesting to see. It does look like Persuade is merely going to stay at 80 and not go for a 100 food push.
Yeah, I expect he thinks he can catch Renaud off guard at 80 and knock him out completely without even having to go to 100. Worpex also at 80, and Flame. Oh, just now I noticed a little bit earlier he'd been sitting at 53 for a good 3 or 4, maybe even 5 minutes. It was gnawing away at my heart. It really was.
Well, fortunately, he's gotten that back under control. I've got to believe Worpex is going to try and go for Flame again, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Persuade is currently stacking up on some items. I gotta believe he's gonna get 2 more Scrolls of Teleportation and probably he wouldn't.
Renaud scouted it.
Yep, there it is.
So we'll see if he's able to take this down. He's building some Dryads fervently, but he really only has 1 Ancient of Lore. This is really not the place you want to be when you're an elf seeing this kind of army coming your way. Spellbreaker tank push early is just one of the nastiest things to fend, even though he has a level 5 Warden and his Panda is 4. He's freakishly trying to put up those Ancient Protectors, but Persuade's already at his front doorstep here.
Yep, and the one nice thing is he does have that Fountain of Mana, so the Panda can just go burn, burn, burn. It looks like Persuade may go ahead and break up his army a little bit, though, which would certainly be a good choice in general. Renaud is going for the idea of let's just take those heroes down and try and force them to teleport out of here, which
ultimately
could prove to be
with
the
a
best
level.
idea.
Absolutely. Ultimately, with a level 1 Paladin, there's still not too much to fear, but as soon as that Paladin hits level 3, his heroes are just going to be hard to take down. So I agree with Renaud's choice to get that Paladin out of there right there, deny him the experience that he so desperately needs.
Yep, if we take a quick break and look up here, Worpex is actually hitting Flame at a great time right now. Flame is caught with his pants down, he doesn't even have the ability to go 80, and he's having his workshops taken down. I think that this is probably going to be the end of Flame unless he rebuilds somewhere else. He does have the ability to build some Spellbreakers over here, but Worpex is just coming in at a great time. He's going to feed up on the experience. And going back down here, it looks like
we got a TP off.
Renaud forced him to get back, and Persuade is now going 100. He's building some Griffins to kind of finish off his army. And let's see if Renaud decides to stay at 80 and gain a gold advantage, or if he decides to go 100 and completely counter it. Persuade did indeed manage to break up the army.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely a good choice. Flame is begging for Worpex not to kill the castle. I gotta believe at this point, though, Worpex is probably saying he's in great position, should go ahead and finish Flame off. He's also
Yeah, I
going to
think
be
we're
viewed
looking
as
at
an underdog pretty traditionally, so even if he does finish him off, it's unlikely that he's going to get teamed by Persuade and Renaud.
Yeah, ultimately, I think we're looking at a three-way here between the admins. I think that Flame is more or less out of this game. I can't really see a circumstance in which he'd come back. Unfortunately for him, this map doesn't lend itself very well to hiding. There are not very many mines, and even though it's a rather large map and there are plenty of places to build buildings, there's not really very many places where you can get gold. If we focus our attention on the 1v1 between Persuade and Renaud, Renaud does have more gold, but he's down a mine right now. I really like his heroes, though. The combination that I underestimated a little bit proved to nuke that hero quite well, but these Griffins joining the army could turn the tides.
And interestingly enough, let's talk about the fact that Persuade's Paladin currently has invisibility on it to kind of counter this idea that it will be nuked down instantaneously. I think that's really kind of an interesting choice and something probably most players wouldn't think about. The invisibility from the shop lasts for, I believe, 3 minutes, and it'll allow it to stay in for an extra 30 seconds in the fight probably, because we'll get to wait until the Panda or the Archmage is nuked down.
And there's the haze. These chims are doing much less damage, but there's a defensive haze back on the Griffins for Renaud. Looks like the Warden's down to half hit points already. We've got some blizzards going on, trying to keep the chims down low. Warden's running low, 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 low. Warden's going low. We're a little bit of TP here. There we go.
And the Keeper of the
Renaud's
Grove
going to try not to lose any
nice save
chims.
on it. Looking back up
There goes
top
the
over
tank.
on the left, Worpex is currently trying to hunt down the last of Flame stuff. The only problem are the Spellbreakers, because most of the magic damage here isn't working. I guess the Carrion Beetles are probably actually coming in handy now, though, because they are able to damage the Spellbreakers. Going back down
And
a
they
little
do
bit,
extra damage.
Persuade has managed to find Renaud's Expo again and is taking it down. Persuade is at 98. Renaud is at 80. I gotta presume he's gonna try and go up. That Keeper of the Grove is, there we go, healed up. He's got a few weak chims here, and he does have that mana pool. Persuade appears to be going back a little bit. He may try and starve Renaud out a little bit, although that wouldn't make the most sense in my eyes since he's at 98 currently.
I think they're going to piece here, to be honest. I think they're going to check Worpex, and then I think Persuade will either decide that he wants to force a 1v1 and try to take Renaud out fruitlessly, and they end up both losing to Worpex, or they're going to piece it up, and we're going to have a nice long three-way on our hands. So either one of these things I could see happening right about now.
Yep.
Didn't read the chat.
That
was a nicely timed invulnerable.
Here we go, yep. Sorry about that. A little behind in the fight here, but looks like it is in nice position for Renaud. He's getting a nice nuke, and that Panda is being blocked off by the tank. Persuade did not lose a whole lot there. He's got a lot of weak units. With this vault going up, he should be able to heal a good bit of it. Going back up to the top left, Worpex is just completely decimating Flame. That Lich is going to hit level 4 in a moment. He's got a bunch of weak Spellbreakers, which are going to go down. I'm not really sure what Flame is doing except kind of running away at this point. However, that Archmage is going to die to a nuke pretty much instantaneously. Let's see if... Nope. Okay, Worpex decides not to chase. Go ahead and finish off what he knows he can.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, as I said before, I don't really see much of a hope for the purple human here at all.
Yep, I agree. Flame's probably out of it. However, I'm not entirely sure that Renaud and Persuade are going to piece. I think both of them view Worpex as a negligible threat, despite the fact that he has 10,000 gold currently, which is more than either of the other players. He's playing very well at this point. However, he's historically proven to be a little bit of a weaker player than Renaud and Persuade have been. So some ego and machismo may go into this and force them to keep battling down a little bit. If so, Worpex could get a nice win, as you said. However, it could also lead to some late-game teaming of Worpex when Persuade and Renaud don't have very much.
Yeah, I could see exactly the situation that you're describing. I mean, ultimately, when you have, I don't know if I'd call better, but perhaps more stronger micro, better at winning fights. Maybe not necessarily better at using their head, but when we have two players that are stronger fighters, better battlers, better in the moment that are fighting, and then the lesser of the three in terms of micro skill is winning by a great margin on the other side of the battlefield. I find that even though they have that large advantage, when they get both of the stronger foes turn on them at the same time, it tends to even it out better than if, say, two new players decided to piece a little bit later than they may have should have, and the strongest player, micro-wise in the match, just totally knocks them out afterwards.
Absolutely.
So.
And it does not look like Persuade is going to go ahead and continue to fight Renaud. In fact, he's coming over here. It'll be interesting to see if Worpex decides to try and fight him. That was a very nice scout beetle. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not. However, it served its purpose completely and warned him that Persuade was on the way. Persuade may decide to try and get a few easy levels off of Flame here. In fact, that's probably what I
think
would
that's
do
what he'll do.
Yep. Interestingly enough, it looks like Renaud may have had the same idea. He's in the middle currently. I'm not sure what his intentions are besides making sure nobody else can heal right now.
Renaud's just chilling in the middle, watching everything happen with his map hack that Persuade accuses of him having, and sitting nicely at 80 mining. I really like that choice. I think that going down to 50 right now while others fight is not really the right choice. Looks like up top, Persuade's using the Blizzard Shackle move to focus down some Dragonhawk riders. We've got the Panda in a sticky situation here. He's getting all his mana burned. He's getting focused down, but I think that a nice staff will come in here. Ooh, it could get nuked. Could get nuked. Oh, the Panda goes down.
I'm not sure who got that,
actually.
That's agreed. And there, the Archmage is so close, 13 hit points. That was a very nice job by Worpex coming in here to clean up. And he should manage to get the rest of Flame's units without a whole lot of trouble. Worpex has actually got a huge hero advantage here. He's got a 6/5/4 heroes. The Crypt Lord has his ultimate going on, which is actually one of the few useful things that Crypt Lord can do. And that Lich is not far away from 5, so that's going to be a nightmare for the other players to deal with.
Worpex says, "You will not take my meal away from me, sir. That is rude. I fought hard for this meal."
Worpex has worked very hard to get himself this tome. He's put himself in great position, just played it very well so far. In fact, he's going to put up a 3rd expansion currently, and he may even go for a 4th, depending on if he feels that 3,500 gold is worth it at Flame's main base. It does look like Persuade is coming back here to try and fight Worpex again. Maybe see. Well, I'm not sure why. He doesn't have his Panda back yet, does he?
I do not see it.
Nope,
I think it's still resurrecting halfway. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm not entirely sure what Persuade is doing. However, he is 100. And Renaud is coming up here and may decide to just come in on the action. He looks like he's been a little.
I think he's going to feign. I think he's going to feign 100 and make them think that he has less gold than he has. Renaud is really the master. I've never seen a player ever dissuade people from thinking that he has gold when he really does better than Renaud. I think that his ability to just say nothing and have people think that he's broke when he really is just rich as possible, without any sort of manip or anything, is just astounding. I've never seen anything like it.
The one player that I think does it just as well is actually Nublex, and the interesting thing about in that case is that it's not that people don't think he has gold, it's that they think he has a lot of gold and they're still like 3 times off. Renaud kind of, they just assume he's used it all up. Nublex, everybody would assume, had 10,000 gold, and it would turn out he really had 50,000. It was almost like the gold mines just gave him double the rate of normal people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the very first season I played in. He was in the match. He was in the second round. We did it on the Crucible, I believe it was, and he did an extremely aggressive Tree of Life first, and then double expanded another place, and did some really neat creeping tricks with AOW. And then every single other elf player in the entire league that season copied him, myself included, exactly his build, tree for tree, life for life. It was it was such an impressive 20,000 gold at 15-minute type play that the player really was impressive at getting gold quickly.
And it looks like Flame is about to be finished off. He has one farm left. He'll be joining us in the Observer soon. And going back to some gold counts while we don't have a whole lot going on. Worpex is sitting on 11,000 at 71 food, so he's in good position to just go up to 80 if he needs to. Renaud has 10,000 gold and is at 80. And Persuade is sitting at 100 food with 5,000 gold. I gotta believe he's dying to fight somebody, if for no other reason
he's
than to
really
lose a few
looking.
units.
Absolutely, he's really looking to piss off Worpex here and get himself double teamed. Maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he just wants to lose. He just wants to check Worpex because he knows he's the strongest. But it's. If I were in his shoes, I'd probably be doing the same thing. To be honest.
Yep.
This Blizzard play is really nice, though. I really like it.
It is. Persuade has already lost 22 food, though. Worpex has actually lost about the same.
Death
Worpex
Knight's really low.
Nice TP on the Death Knight. Just a moment too late for Persuade, and Persuade is actually perfectly lost the right amount of food. He's now at 80. I suspect we will not see him rebuilding. Yep. He's gotten another expansion going up here, so that brings him up to 3 expansions as well. Renaud would like to be kept out of this conversation, I believe.
But Worpex is not going to let that happen. He knows exactly what Renaud's doing, sitting and hoarding kindly. He, of course, is going to show off his big, nasty Chim army and pretend that he's at 100 again, but I don't think that they're going to fall for it. He may admit to having 80, but I think that would more hurt than help. I think that, honestly, Renaud's best choice right here would just be to shut up.
Yep, if Renaud points out that he only has 2 expansions, though, because the others are both at 3 expansions, well, Worpex was until he lost one of his, then that might help them. I think Worpex is looking for any excuse to go ahead and fight Persuade. I think he realizes that Renaud is definitely a huge threat. However, getting that expansion killed and a lot of his army killed probably has to piss him off.
Yeah, it looks like Renaud's going to feign 100, just like I said. They're definitely thinking about teaming Renaud right here. He admitted 8. He admitted the 80. That's very interesting. I wonder if they're going to team. I think maybe Worpex will drop down to 50. No, he just made those gargoyles.
Yep, so he looks like he's getting ready to fight Renaud. I mean, getting lots of gargoyles is definitely the first step. However, it'll be interesting to see how he fares, considering Renaud's Panda is going to be 5 soon, so level 3 Breath of Fire, and the Warden already is 5, so unless Worpex is very careful with his micro, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble with those gargoyles, because they will die pretty much instantaneously to Renaud's heroes.
Yeah, I mean, Worpex really has a disadvantage. I mean, I know he loves his Crypt Lord and all, but one of the most important things in the Elf versus Undead fight for the Undead is to have that double AOE nuke in the Dreadlord to get those hippos down, because if there's too many, it's just, it can be a big problem. The Crypt Lord's ultimate is ultimately pretty helpful. But early on we saw a match not too long ago where Magadansky went Crypt Lord first and got caught with his pants down at the level 5 Crypt Lord versus Renaud, and he just could not kite the hippos back, and just ended up getting plunged asunder by the fearsome Night Elf.
Yep, and interestingly enough, Renaud's Panda now has 2 Crowns of King plus 5, a Pendant of Energy, and a Mask of Death. You've got to like that for his heroes. He's also managed to pick up the Flute of Accuracy, Scourge of Bones on the Keeper of the Grove, in addition to Thorn's Aura. And then he's got some nice items on the Warden to try and help keep it alive as well. He's got the Pendant of Energy and the Crown of Kings, in addition to a scroll for healing everything. So he's doing a great job on items so far. Let's go up to Persuade.
He's absolutely meticulous.
Persuade
Looks like he's trying to
has...
play checkers here with his towers.
It does look a little bit like that. Looking at Persuade, he does not have quite as good items. He does have on the Panda a Sobi Mask, which in addition to the Brilliance Aura, is certainly going to help him out a good bit. He's got Rune Bracers
Absolutely.
to prevent some nuking. An extra Vitality, which he could probably upgrade at the shop somewhere. I've got to believe that there's another crown lying around. Boots, which are always important, and the Staff of Sanctuary to save himself.
Absolutely.
The Archmage has pretty standard stuff. The only variance is a Potion of Healing, which I completely disagree with. I think that's a terrible item on it. It could be much better suited by something that gives him more health overall, or even maybe some type of Endurance Aura. The Paladin has the Rune Bracers, also a good choice, of Vitality and Speed, typical Staff, and a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, which will be pretty pointless soon, although maybe he's just carrying it to give it to the Archmage after the Archmage gives his own.
It's possible. I mean, ultimately, Divine Shield doesn't last forever. And if you are going to do a long fight, tanks want the long fight. They want the grindy fight. They want the fight that lasts a while. So resilient items, it's interesting to mention. I think it's worth mentioning for all you human players out there, the Rune Bracers don't just reduce nukes, they reduce magic damage altogether. So those Chim Focus Firers will be made unhappy by your Rune Bracers if you put them on your melee heroes, in particular, as you see Persuade doing here. Both the Panda, the Archmage can sort of kite in and out. It's a fast hero, but he could get caught here and get nuked down. Looks like everything. Yep, he's gonna TP out here and lose a Griffin.
Yep, and let's go ahead and talk about Worpex's heroes items. He has the 2 original summons that he got off of the Reds, which are decent but not great. He has a Ring of Protection +2, which I'm not sure why he's carrying around. Boots of Speed, which will make it pretty much faster than anything in the game with the Death Knight aura, and the Orb of Corruption on his Crypt Lord. Looking at
Looks like we got a fight coming in here. Renaud really wants this. It's an 80 versus 80 fight.
Let's see how those gargoyles do. They're going down.
Oh, that wasn't a very good buff.
Nope, there goes.
He missed half of
the
them. Worpex
Lich,
had a nice
though.
kite.
He is just focusing down heroes as much as he can, letting the gargoyles do what damage they can. Worpex has already lost 24 food. Renaud has lost 19. The Death Knight has hit level 6, but that's not all that important at this point, and it could go down. There it goes, and he's got it down. That gives level 6 to the Warden. That is great news for Renaud, because he's now got 6, 5, and 4, but most importantly, he's got level 3 Breath of Fire and the Avatar to go on the Warden.
Absolutely. I think that this is going to turn into a Team Renaud situation very quickly if he keeps winning fights like that.
Yep. These are going to be scary heroes later on. Although, interestingly enough, I'm not sure how I feel about the Keeper of the Grove's ultimate. In one way, it's going to be extremely... we'll hold off on that because we've got Persuade coming in here. Not sure if he's trying to skirmish with Renaud or just run away.
Stop, Fred. It looks like he's going to break 50 after all. I was thinking Worpex might go 50 here, but I think that would be a poor decision. I think that he would be punished for trying to hoard right now. I think that staying 80 is ultimately the best decision right now, while it's still sort of a mixed bag in terms of game. Looks like we've got some backstabbing going on here. That Pandarian Brewmaster has a lot of hit points, though. I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
Yep, I gotta agree with that. And interestingly enough, it looks like they're not even going to take the tome. I can understand not picking up the Ring of Regeneration. However, I don't see any reason not to go ahead and grab that Tome of Strength. So he's trying to get the Keeper of the Grove up to level 5. He's not too far away at this point. And there goes... Warden's going to go ahead and take that Tome of Strength. I mean, great move on that choice, I think. It would add a little bit of damage to the Panda. However, the Panda already has a ton of hit points, and increasing the hit points on the Warden is going to be very important, because they're both going to try and just focus it down instantaneously. And this is going to be the point where Persuade could regret not having that Mountain King, because Warden in general is pretty squishy. However, it's got Blink, and if you can't keep it pinned down, then it's going to provide all types of trouble for both players.
Absolutely. I think that the Warden is a really strong choice considering the matchup here, considering no sleep, considering no bolt. Looks like Persuade is killing off some peasants. I guess he wants to make more room. It's interesting he's mixing in the gyrocopters here. I think that... I'm not sure how I feel about that at this given time. And I know that they're not terribly cost effective. I don't play human... At least I don't play human well. myself, so I can't speak to exactly their fit in this army. But Persuade's a much better player than I am, and especially in terms of army composition. So maybe he knows something I don't.
I'm thinking he may try and just use them to kite a little bit. I mean, they're obviously going to be in massive trouble should the panda hit them. However, I don't believe that the Warden's Fan of Knives affect them, do they?
Which ones? Gyrocopters? No,
Yep.
they're mechanical. Looks like Worpex did go 50 here. I think this is incredibly risky. I think that he could easily get Chim or tanked down. I don't know that I agree with this choice. It's rather aggressive to try to take another mine while at 50. He may or may not be scouting. Yeah, it looks like he's scouting, so he knows what people are doing. But against Chippo and tank armies, your bases can just fall, especially as Undead with weak Undead base layout. It's so easy to get completely based and die with 13k in your base. But he's going for it. And he's only mining off one mine right now and trying to take this extra one. But
Yeah, it's a bold
looks like
move.
it's not going to happen.
I think that it will really depend on how long he wants to push his luck for. He already has 14,000 gold, and he's got to figure he's at least in the running for having the most gold. Renaud attacking Persuade right now is the best thing that could happen to Worpex. He's going to be able to mine at 50 while nobody's realizing what's going on. So that's great news for him.
Yeah, but I think that Worpex will break here and try to attack Renaud, and if he doesn't, I don't know. Just Persuade is such a gold disadvantage. Interestingly enough, Renaud chose not to get Corrosive Breath. He wants to focus down all those towers. Here comes an interesting altercation here. Good kiting from the Gyrocopters. He doesn't want to get Breath of Fire. Here comes the Breath. Oh, he got a bunch of them.
Yep,
But
good amount of them.
Now
One
before
more breath is going to be
wears
GG
off,
for those.
he's going to bring them back. Bait another.
He is doing a great job of keeping them over the woods to try and avoid as much damage as possible. However, now the hippos are easily able to take down the gyrocopters, and Renaud is focusing down on that, although he does make most of them survive. Warpex is
Meanwhile,
not
the Warden.
Yep. The Avatar
Warden's
is
taking
doing
down a
plenty
bunch
of
of
damage.
things. Yeah. Avatar, that's what it's called. Warpex deciding to be a little passive. You're right. Keeping up to hitting up to 15k here. It's a pretty high gold count for this map. You don't usually see. In the neighborhood, I think the highest I ever saw was 25 or 26. You know, it's just with the few mines that we were talking about before. But it looks like Renaud is mixing in some more hippogriffs into his army. I like that decision, especially considering he saw those expensive, cash draining flying machines running around. Because you get one good breath of fire off, and then it's just a one shot for those hippos. So
Yep, and
his tank count isn't very high as well.
the griffins are looking primed to go down as well, especially if you can get haze on them. Then the hippos will be able to chase them down instantaneously. The tanks really do not appear to be much of a problem at this point. I think it's kind of an interesting decision to go so lightly on them. I think that Persuade might have had better luck with maybe not making any of the gyros and adding in three more tanks.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I really don't like this army from him. I mean, he's, as I said, he's much better at building armies than I am, but I can't see this in any way with no interrupts, no way to prevent, no silence, no nothing to do to that Pandarian Brewmaster. He's just going to be running the gyrocopters away more than doing anything else with them, from what I understand. From what I see here, and 5 tanks, it's really just, it's not enough. He could be trying to hide them, but I don't see that either. I think that Worpex is going to have to break here and team, which he is. He's
Breath of Fire, and hit 3 tanks there. That's pretty good. And Renaud is just going to keep running away, Breath of Fire, running away, Breath of Fire, which that's really what you want to see if you are Night Elf, is the ability to cast your Breath of Fire on those tanks with impunity. Interestingly enough, the gyros over here are going to come in and try and take the chims from the side while the panda is away. It does not look like it'll work completely. Well. Nope, here comes the Breath of Fire, I'm sure. It's got to be coming
up soon.
There it is.
There
and that takes down a lot of damage. And he's going to focus down.
Oh, he's going to back up.
Yeah.
I really like his use of Blizzard. He and Human Star do that really well. Both of those players are a big fan of Blizzard in Chippo fights, in Mass Tank mirrors. Really, I really like, especially with aerial shackles. Sometimes in the air battles, I'll see aerial chakra blizzard, just really a lot of damage, more damage than if the Archmage was just attacking. Looks like mass teleports joining the battlefield here.
Yep, that will prove to be
So that
pretty
could be
interesting. He lost 2 siege engines, and it looks like the tanks will go down pretty quickly. Worpex looks like he wants to go ahead and fight Renaud, which is probably the right move at this point, although I actually think he could have gotten away with being passive for a little while longer. Maybe sitting at 80 would be a good choice here, although Persuade is asking to be double-teamed. He makes a good call of the fact that Worpex was at 50 before, but he isn't now, and he should be able to see that from the brief delay when Worpex TP'd in and he TP'd out. Worpex may go for some retribution hitting here, though. Taking down the farms is a good idea. You don't really want the human to be
Oh,
able
we
to
got some
mass
lying
teleport
going
everywhere.
on here from Warpex. So nice Divine Shield. Looks like the battle up here in the top right. We've got some more Blizzard action. The Paladin's going to probably heal the Archmage pretty soon.
Down
If
go
not,
the
it's going to go down.
Griffins.
Yep, there we go. Griffins get taken down. I really don't... there's not enough tanks in this army, Persuade. The hero arena is going to prove to be really well. I mean, he's got a level 5 Panda.
Yep, the Chims are going down pretty quickly with a few more staffs. Still
Let's
waiting.
cut
Where's
that
that
out.
Keeper of the
Yep.
Grove? Where is the Keeper of
Looks
the
like
Grove?
he's using Shadow to slow him down there a bit. That Warden's rather low. He's looking for a staff here maybe pretty soon.
Yep.
There's
good
the TP.
teleport.
He's
All
gonna
right,
try to
move
save.
back in, move there.
Oh,
got
all 3
2,
Chims
yep.
go. Wow.
And almost got the Panda at the same time. That was pretty
pretty
well
impressive.
played there. Yep. Worpex is indeed going for Persuade.
Yeah, I think that this is probably an error for Warpex, to be honest. I think that he needs Persuade's help to kill Renaud, especially considering, as I've said in the past, and some have agreed and some haven't, I think that Elf versus Undead is a cakewalk, especially with a Keeper of the Grove in the mix. Chippo just destroys anything that Undead has to offer, in my experience. I feel much more confident going up against Magadansky with his, sick Imba micro than I do against even the most mediocre of human players. But that's just my own personal feeling on the matter. But there's no denying that Renaud's heroes and his army composition do dispatch what Warpex has to offer quite easily. And teaming with the human isn't necessarily what you want to do most of the time, but that's just my feelings.
I disagree somewhat with your analysis about the Any versus Undead. However, the fact that he is a Crypt Lord is not helping himself. If he had a Dreadlord, then he would have the extra nuking ability, and he would have Sleep. He's not doing himself any favors at this point in Chippo versus Garg Wars with having that Crypt Lord. His ultimate might help him out a little bit. However, he's in a tough position here. His heroes and army composition are not particularly strong against either of the players, I don't think. He does have a macro advantage right now, and his heroes are in good shape too, in terms of level-wise. However, it'll be interesting to see how he manages to handle fights 1v1 against each of the players.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he's going to fare when it comes down to a 1v1 situation. As I mentioned before, both of the other players are playing races that lend themselves well to quick base trades, quick base exchanges, quick just leveling of bases. So he loses one fight, no matter how much gold he's got, and it could just sort of be over. And there's not really a lot of space to rebuild, as I said. There aren't many good places to build buildings here. It's just sort of a large traverse across the center canyon.
That's very true, and Renaud is going 100 now. He has mined all of his gold and has no reason not to be 100, so he's going ahead and pumping that up. Worpex is the only one with any ability to mine currently. That's the only gold mine left on the map, and Persuade is just scouted A, so he knows what's going on. Renaud is trying to focus a little manip here, however I gotta believe that he's not too worried about Warpex's expo currently. I mean, Worpex's army at his door. I think that once he gets that Warden and Panda going, it's going to be tough for Persuade to survive it.
I wonder if he forgot to upgrade his Druid of the Talon training here. He built a couple talents, and he's like, oh, these things can't even become crows.
Yeah, I gotta suspect that he did. Fortunately, there's no need for him to actually use them at this point, but he almost certainly just is going, wait, what the fuck? Why can't I upgrade these?
Yeah, I really like Renaud's gotten very fond of this Fan of Knives, Breath of Fire spam, and it really does wonders in a lot of these armies. Oh, Persuade's going to be building his last army. I don't know. I think play dead, Persuade, and stop building so many damn flying machines.
Yeah,
they're terrible, damn it.
I don't know why.
Wasting all your gold.
Machines.
I think he's
Renaud
trying
is
to
going
force a hero
Renaud
arena
actually only does
situation.
have 6,000. I don't know where most of his gold went. Worpex is sitting at 12,000. Let's see.
Yeah, I saw that myself. I was wondering what happened to it all as well. I think that just the pump, he lost a couple of units and then just pumping using those expensive chimeras, chimeras, wow. Chimeras, took a big chunk out of his gold. I think that when Worpex goes 100, we just went up to 81.
Nope,
No,
he's back down to
80.
80.
Back down to 80, okay.
I think he was going to build one more Acolyte for this mine and then realized he was going to be 81 for that. And
Yeah.
Renaud is going to go ahead and say, I don't really want you taking that.
I really like these games where you get one mine that just sort of hangs out in the corner, and every time that somebody tries to expand to it, bam, he's the new target. I really find that to be an interesting dynamic in games, because I wanted to comment on this a little bit earlier, but there was so much going on. Maybe I'll save it for after this altercation here.
I only see one teleportation scroll on Worpex right now, which that could prove to be costly should he make any errors on the Death Knight. Or even if he's forced to TP away, that Lich is going to go down instantaneously. I think that he should have probably a teleportation on every hero. This is going to be brutal for Worpex right now. You can just see the flames, the knives. Yeah, I'm not sure why he's focusing the Crypt Lord. That seems like an odd choice, but Renaud is having a great fight so far. He's already got Worpex down to 52 food. And a nice entangle on the Death Knight here. Yep, there it is. And he'll have to TP
for a teleport.
There it is. Let's see if Worpex actually gets all of his units teleported. It looks like he'll bring them back inside. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, so, as I said, I think Worpex really needs Persuade's help here. Otherwise, Renaud's got in a bag. Persuade using all of his gold. All of it. Why do you disappoint me when you know that I care for you so? You don't even play sexy dead. You just we're gonna have a talking after this.
I wouldn't have nearly as much of an objection to it if it wasn't flying machines. If you go
flying
tanks,
machines,
then at least those will survive. You can staff them back and all that stuff. But really, flying machines.
Maybe us silly us silly elves just don't know what we're talking about. But I'm pretty sure that Renaud, why are you trying to do that? I mean, you know they're going to team you anyway, maybe that's what he's thinking here, but going for that expansion, as I was saying before, that last mine makes it interesting, because everybody thinks that they can take it, and that they should take it, but they're always wrong. They should never take the mine.
Yeah, it's really it is an interesting dynamic. Is there any point where you should take the mine? If you are successfully fending off the 2v1, do you try and take it? But then you're forced to TP over to it. I mean, interesting little fight going on here. Interestingly enough, Renaud is not using any Breath of Fire on the flying machines. That would have been a great move for him. Instead, he tries to take down some tanks, and they don't go down because they're tanks and they never die.
Correct. Yeah, I think that when those flying machines go down, Persuade's going to be turning his smile upside down. Whatever. Shut up. Stop talking, Red.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and ignore you there.
But anyway, what I was talking about before, I kept trying to make this point. I really wanted to bring it up was, I think that one of the common mistakes that new free-for-all players, right when you're starting to get a grasp for how teaming works and the correct teaming at the correct time, you're starting to get a hold of it. You really want to get it. Is the confusion between having mines and having goals. One of the things that a lot of really talented manipulators will do is go, so and so has these mines. They're mining. They focus a lot on the present, and they don't pay attention too much on what was happening 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago, Worpex was toming someone at 80. Nobody knows, but now he's mining, 2 mines, and Renaud has 5. Let's team Renaud. Situations like that. I mean, not coming up with the right example, but I think you sort of follow what I'm saying.
No, yeah, I think that I think everybody's gonna be able to follow that. And ooh, we got Renaud is taking out some tanks here. That's gonna be good for him, especially because Persuade does not have very much gold left. So that Keeper of the Grove hits level 5, or no, it must have been Warden hit 7. The Keeper of the Grove is gonna hit 6 soon though, and Persuade is calling for some teaming on Renaud, which actually at this point I think is pretty well needed. Worpex does have that, yep, gold advantage. However, Renaud,
I'm seeing a TP coming right here. I don't think he's going to try to wait for Worpex. I think there's going to be a TP any moment now.
That can be, yep, let's see.
He's really not in the position to...
Although he is not TPing out. In fact, Renaud is the one that TPs. So he's just going to get some better position. That Panda, he's got a bunch of wells here. That's going to go well for him. Pun intended. And here comes Worpex on the other side. So it'll be interesting to see how well Renaud can handle this. I like that Persuade is spreading out his tanks here and not allowing the Chim splash damage to get to them and trying to take out multiple things at one time. Renaud is actually rebuilding a Tree of Life right now, which I think is
looks like
a good
he just
move.
Killed a couple flying machines with his excellent Blizzard.
Well, as we've been saying, flying machines are dumb because he only has 2 left at this point, maybe 3. Warpex is being pretty much unfocused at this point. I think that Renaud has to try and force a TP out here, which is what he's going to do. Actually, apparently not TPing yet. Warpex is
here's
doing
the
a lot of
tranquility
damage currently. Yep. However, Persuade
when
there's a
defending,
TP. Alright, so now we can go focus on Warpex. Those Chims are pretty low.
Focusing the Lich. We're going to get a coil here. We're going to kite back.
Yep, okay.
I guess he's not really focusing at all. We're getting sort of an A move while he focuses on his heroes here. The Keeper of the Rose. Keeper of the Rose going really low. Big focus. Stop. There's the staff.
Panda goes ahead and uses his ultimate. I'm not sure if it was super low or what. However, that's not very helpful because he really needed some more ability to get some AoE damage going on.
Cryptlord ultimate looks like.
Yep, Warden's being focused down. Let's TP's out. It had it full.
It's not looking too great for Renaud here. Nope. He's running low on Moonwells.
He does have some Moonwells in the back to use though. However, let's see. We need another Fan of Knives in order to take out those Gargs. There goes Keeper of the Grove. That's down. Warden is going to be down pretty soon unless it manages to save itself. This is not looking good for Renaud. Warpex has played this very well timing-wise, and Persuade is on his way, but who knows what he's going to do.
Looks like there's going to be a
there we go.
Turn
Warden
back.
Down.
Looks like we're going to see a backstab any moment, but I don't think he has a good enough target for his mass teleport targets are too far away. He's not going to be able to save Renaud. Yeah.
Persuade is putting up with that expansion there. That was a good ping on that one. Worpex is in great position though. He's got the best heroes. He's got 6,000 gold. He just needs to try and kill off most of Renaud's stuff so that he can't get those heroes back because those heroes are always going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if played correctly, we could see an even game here. But ultimately, I disagree with Persuade's choice just there. I think that he engaged too much. I think that what you see a lot of good players do, or at least what I don't know necessarily good players, but players that aren't supremely confident in themselves, as Persuade sometimes is. Looks like we've got a good battle here going on. Yep. Excuse my train of thought.
That's fine.
Tanks versus Gargs. Tanks versus Gargs. We've got Gargs in terrible position, getting tons of hits. They need to go Stoneform. AM getting the pot off.
It looks like Worpex is going to go ahead and... Yep. Good decision there. You'd never want to overengage. After a good fight like that, it's easy to think I can take on anybody, but Worpex wisely realizes that was not in a good position for him.
Absolutely. He's running low on mana for his, well, maybe not mana. Slowing his heroes are a little bit low on hit points. He doesn't have the Gargs. I guess he didn't feel like stone forming and sticking around, so backing off. But the back off, unfortunately, on the flip side, does give Renaud a chance to rebuild his heroes to help Persuade team him. So I think we're actually looking at a pretty even game here, even though Worpex has almost 100 food and High Heroes still has gold. I think that with the correct teaming and the strong hero arena, extremely strong hero arena heroes that we have from both other players, I think this game is far from over.
Yep, absolutely. And 2 Pandas and a Warden all using their AoE at the same time is going to be bye-bye Gargs. Yeah. Worpex is going to have to be very careful and learn to use that stone form because the instant it looks like they're going to start nuking, he should just go ahead and stone form them.
Yeah.
Persuade does have a full expo up and running. He's sitting at 58 food. So he may not be too upset if he loses 2 Griffins here or something. There goes one of them. There goes 2. He's sitting at 50.
Yep.
I don't think that was intentional per se, but I don't think it was unintentional either. I think that he's being able to play a little weak here, and there's 6,000 gold there. If he can mine 3,000, he'll be in pretty good position. Nice save on the Archmage there. Worpex is doing a pretty nice job of bringing these gargoyles back and not letting them get hit by the tanks.
Yeah, Persuade's army is rather thin, but he is chipping away. The resilient human armies are just nothing to balk at. Ooh, that was a big. We need a stone form right here. Come on, Worpex, get that stone form off. You're gonna lose all those gargs, buddy.
So close.
Well, he
did
manage to get there.
Yep.
Looks like we're focusing down some tanks. There's a good staff, very Yane-like staff. Yane was known for never missing a staff, I believe. I suppose I really shouldn't compare anyone to the great Yane, but I've gone and done it anyway.
And Renaud now has both his Panda and his Warden back. And the Keeper of the Grove is well on its way, so he's back in action, ready to do some damage probably. Going back to the midpoint, Persuade can comfortably keep the middle mine probably. There's not a whole lot Worpex can do to try and get him away from that, and it'll be interesting to see if anybody actually realizes that Persuade has that mine in the top left going.
I think they'll figure it out pretty quick. Yeah, I think they'll figure it out pretty quick. Ultimately, what Persuade's doing right now is really what human does best, and that's stall. They are just the most talented race at not dying. They have Holy Light, Divine Shield, high heroes with a lot of hit points, tanks that don't die, spellbreakers that won't die. Just resilient units that can just stick around, get in your way, make your day sad. And that's exactly what he's doing here. He's biding himself some time while he mines up a couple thousand gold.
That Death Knight
looks like low Death
rough
Knight.
Shape. If it gets very close.
Ooh, there's the TP. A 40 food army fighting an 78 food army, and still TP's going down. It's just incredible what the power of high level human heroes can do.
Yeah, and
meanwhile we've got some harassment.
Hurt either.
Some harassment going on down here.
And looks like Renaud may decide to go ahead and bring the Panda in there. I'm not positive. He is not quite telling the truth here, and he's actually mining a little bit, or will be mining a little bit soon.
680 gold.
If they underestimate his heroes, then they could come to regret that later. These heroes are probably some of the only ones that could do some serious damage to Persuades, and it may end up that Persuade needs to be teamed down a little bit later. In that case, the ability to entangle and then use both the Undead and the Night Elf's heroes to nuke down the heroes may be the only way to kill them.
Yeah, ultimately, I see this game going to Persuade very, very much in his favor right now. They have not noticed this. I thought that they would notice it sooner, but really, there's no way. If Worpex still thinks that Renaud is a problem, he needs to they both need to realize that that Persuade's heroes are something to deal with. I always think that in a three-way, there's going to be constant team switches. It's all about who's strongest, and you have to just constantly ask yourself who's strongest, who's strongest, who's strongest, who's strongest. And when you're dealing with a human player with high-level heroes, that moment is always 20 minutes earlier than you think it is. Ooh, some Gargs went down there.
Worpex has lost 3 Gargs there. There we go, finally a stone form, but a little bit too late.
I don't see this going well for Worpex at all. I think that he's going to lose something big. There's a good buff. Double buff coming here. Are we going to see it?
Nice staff by Renaud.
Nice staff, yep.
If he loses those Frostworms, he is going to sorely regret it. Those are 7 food.
The blockade.
There's 1 down.
He's going to get a TP.
So not terrible, but certainly not what Worpex wants to see at this point.
Yeah, I think that right now they're going to be... I think right now there's going to be a scout going down. I think that Renaud, using his spidey senses, I'm praying, is going to go and scout this thing up here, because Persuade is definitely the biggest threat right now. It's hard to see. Three-ways are just the bane of every new free-for-all player's existence. These players are extremely experienced, and I think they're going to catch on. But you notice just a little too late with the right player in the right position, and it's game over. Ultimately, we love to get down to those hero arena situations, which are so exciting. but it's sort of like a balancing act until then. Team the strongest, team the strongest, team the strongest. It changes until somebody managed to tip the tide and the Jenga tower falls over. If you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Oh, Panda getting low.
And a bit of a safe rule of thumb is in those 40 and 50 food armies, you never want to be facing the human because they can make it last forever. And just pure hero arena, you never want to be facing an orc because you will not be able to kill them and they will kill you. Down goes the warden, by the way. That was probably not what Renaud wanted there. He did manage to save the Keeper of the Grove, which was looking a little iffy as well. However, he does have the gold to bring it back, but that's going to waste 400 gold that I'm sure he would have liked to use for something else. Renaud is actually moving his Tree of Life towards the other mine, so before too long we're going to have a realization that Persuade is currently mining.
Yeah.
And that should probably
the slowest
change him
scout
over.
ever.
Hey, it's a scout,
Looks like
though.
we've got the tanks, the correct army coming here. I think the Persuade should be hiding these tanks somewhere. I don't think that he should be showing the fact that he's building. Leave them out in the open here where somebody might be able to see them, although these towers. Best army, most gold pretty soon. It's looking very much in Persuade's favor here, I think. Yeah.
I think they're going to switch redeeming
look
him.
here. This just happened. We're getting some hidden gems, I think. He's going to put
Yep.
those in the corner, down here somewhere perhaps. And, oh wait, no, he canceled. He changed his mind. But I have less than 1k. He said he builds the chims. He says I have less than 1k, and then he cancels. Did you see that? I thought that was a little cheeky.
I did, except he did. I have greater than 1k. So
Greater than 1k.
yeah, I think he messed up. I think he meant to say less than 1k. I know Persuade has done that before, and it is technically true at the time, but it's definitely kind of a little tongue-in-cheek. Persuade is saying that he just got this expo up, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody's been keeping a gold count on it. Because it was at 6,500 when he started, so he's gotten 4,000 out of it, and Worpex is going to kill it off now, which is absolutely the correct move.
Yeah. Not gonna sell mod. Not any good unless it's a BM or
Mask of Death.
Oh, Mask of Death. Gonna sell it. I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting. It's gonna see how much did they think that they had it. I mean, he did state earlier this is a 7k mine, and Worpex is now seeing clearly that there's 2250 left in it. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they'll probably team Persuade here.
Yep, I gotta agree that they will. So Renaud has a semi-hidden Tree of Life over there, and Worpex has as hidden of a necropolis as you can have with Undead, since you have Blight all around it.
Yeah, it could be a little bit more than
getting ready
but
for a base race. And Persuade looks like he's going to go ahead and try and pressure Worpex a little bit. If they're smart, then while one person is being hit by Persuade, the other will go to his base, because that's really the best way to deal with mass teleportation.
Absolutely. Mass teleport tanks is really just sort of a lose-lose situation when you're in the late game here. I think that this is looking really good for Persuade still.
Yep, and also to note, in addition to that, he's about to get level 6 on his Paladin, so these 4 Spellbreakers will quite literally last forever. There's really nothing you can do to get rid of it unless if Worpex can use Beetle in time when they die to take away the corpses, that will be pretty much the only solution.
Renaud, wondering why he was teamed to death. Yeah, they may have made...
Winning that championship was the worst thing you could have done for yourself.
Yep.
And wisely just focusing down some beetles here, probably trying to get the...
Oh, we gotta get a staff on that tank. Nope, no staff on the tank. It looks like he's saving it for the heroes. Another tank coming down. A good blizzard. Oh, here's a good staff. Very good.
Worpex should have been
Oh,
able
the
to kill that
gargoyles are
off.
back. Gargoyles are here. Looks like I think we might be seeing a TP out here any minute. Holy Light does on the Paladin. I mean the Panda. The Panda's gonna go down. No.
I'm not sure if that was a little lag there or what's going on, but he should not have lost that Panda. It was pretty obvious what was going down.
Intentional manip.
That seems more up Sexy's alley, but it's possible, I suppose. That's really risky if you get into that level of manip. I mean, it can be effective. And
Ooh, it looks like he's successfully manipping Renaud.
Yep. Okay. So
look at this chat here. Yeah, Panda down, coming. Where? Yep. Very good. Very good manip right there. I'm very impressed. Oh, also I think Renaud is a little bit partial to the one that might let him mine this.
Yep. Interestingly enough, though, both of them have the scouted. Worpex has the carry-on beetle there, and Persuade has the flying machine.
Yep.
And Worpex does not like the idea of Renaud mining it.
I wouldn't either.
And here comes the gargoyle, so he's going to go ahead and harass that. Renaud's heroes are going up there. This could be a lot of trouble for the gargoyles if Worpex is not quick enough, because a quick breath of fire followed by a fan of knives, and those gargoyles are going to be in a world of pain.
Yeah, Haze Botfok at level 3 is going to be is most almost always deadly.
Alright, so
Yeah,
he's
he's going to
2, 3.
lose a few more.
Alright, so he's lost 3, and he's...
And Worpex is food blocked.
Yep. Oh, I did not notice that. He is indeed, though.
Yeah, this hero combination is quite deadly. Renaud's loving the Warden these days.
And it's definitely a good choice. It would be a lot more interesting had Persuade gone for a Mountain King and been able to focus it down a little bit, or had... Actually, I think that the Undead hero combo is a pretty good counter to Warden currently, just because he can use spikes to interrupt it and prevent a blink away if need be. Not quite as good as the Dreadlord dropping an Inferno Stone on it would be, but you can't have everything.
Not when you insist on going Crypt Lord first in every single game you ever play.
Well, then you don't
can't.
get most things either.
Looks like Keeper's getting focused. Nice staff off there from Renaud. He's just having a little hero arena fun versus heroes versus 6 worms.
Good
staff.
And
There we
should
go.
see a Panda ultimate now, and probably...
I'm not sure that he'll ultimate. He might save it.
Nope,
No, he will. Yeah. Renaud's a big fan of using the ultimate to try to escape. I think that it's going to bite him here. I think that Earth... No.
Nope.
No, he doesn't chase the Earth.
Interesting move.
I really disagree with, honestly, I really disagree with using the ultimate in that situation myself. It's risky. He's got level 3 aura. He can chase all 3 forms. He can't teleport once he's done it. The defensive Panda is really mid-battle when you're not ready to TP out, and you can't lose the hero only, in my opinion. I just, situation like that, he loses the Panda, Persuade sees a chance to finish Renaud, and then it's all over. Which he might be seeing right now anyway.
That's certainly
I
valid.
think Persuade knows.
I see some value in using the Panda ultimate and then immediately having the Storm Spirit use Windwalk, though, because it's unlikely that Worpex was going to have a way to scout him out and see the invisible one, and you can go ahead and sacrifice the Earth Spirit. However, should Worpex play it smart and just let the Earth Spirit live, then the Panda would go back to square one of being in deep shit.
Correct. I mean, it's true. There's always that option, but as you saw Worpex do, and as a lot of good undead and human players, hero combinations with nukes will do, they'll instantly nuke down that wind guy because he has low hit points. He just goes down right quick.
Yep.
Interesting that there's still
that Worpex managed to do it.
Hey man, don't shortchange the guy.
No, but I mean that was
looks like they're going to team
0.2
Persuade.
seconds. It was pretty impressive. I'd be impressed with anybody doing it. And Worpex does a nice job of focusing down the towers a little bit. The Frostworms are going to be what's going to do all the damage here. He really just needs to get the gargoyles a little bit out of the way, and maybe even save them for later and just focus on his Frostworm Destroyer army.
Yeah, it looks like they're still teaming Worpex. I'm not sure that Renaud really understands how much gold Persuade got.
I think he must not. Otherwise, I think he'd be a lot more scared of Persuade at this point. I think you made a valid point about letting him mine earlier. However, that expansion is gone now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like Renaud may go for a base hit, and Worpex correctly
It's also possible.
pointing out.
Absolutely. It's also possible that one of the things I was going to critique Persuade on earlier when they had that big fight down here in Renaud's main was one of the big things I like to do, and I see a lot of players who aren't supremely confident in their micro like Persuade is when you're in a three-man situation, the gold is low, the armies are on their last leg. I really felt that Persuade overcommitted there. I thought that he put too much of his army on the line and let Worpex just play cleanup when they had both weakened each other. You really want to be careful and count unit by unit that each person is losing a little bit at a time and not let one person get so far ahead when there's no gold left. Looks like the big moment of truth is here in Worpex's base. Got a haze off already. Losing some more ziggurats. Going to be super food blocked forever.
Yep, and it looks like
It's
Renaud
interesting.
is
I
not
wonder when
currently
there's going to
doing
be a
whole lot.
stab. Oh,
Down goes the
Worpex.
Keep of the
No, you don't want to
Grove.
be doing. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to make an enemy. Renaud has to choose the right moment to stab Persuade here. Not focusing Renaud's heroes is not the way to win this match. I think that might have just been a fatal mistake because he's going to lose this battle to Persuade, and then it's just more or less going to be over for him.
Yep, and
Yeah.
Renaud was indeed trying to backstab Persuade. Worpex didn't have any way of knowing that, however. You always want to focus on the things that are actually killing your base currently, as opposed to the things running around outside of it. He does go
Absolutely.
ahead
The
and
summon
use his
comes out
ice,
to
yep,
play.
and good job saving that. Those Frostworms are not looking particularly happy right now with the fact that they're all pretty low health. The Death Knight has a fair amount of mana and should be able to save most of them. I'd like to see a little bit of kiting back here, because those tanks are just ripping into the Frostworms currently.
Absolutely. The power of human is nothing to balk at. I think that in these last situations, this is the real nail biter. You've been playing for 2 hours. I mean, not this game, but this is the kind of situation where you separate the boys from the men in free for all. You've been playing 2 hours. You're really tired. Everybody's down to their last leg. There's no gold left. Everybody's armies are very excited, and you have to know the moment to stab, and you have to do it unspoken, because in free for all Masters leagues, it's unacceptable. You're not allowed to do any private chatting, so you can't time. You can't go, all right, we're going to backstab him in 30 seconds. So you have to really understand what's happening. So what did they just chat here? So
They just
Worpex
said,
dead.
yep.
Yeah. So they just
And
agreed.
Renaud realizes
it's time
that
to
they're in
team.
pretty deep shit. I gotta believe he's
Yeah.
about to try
I mean,
and take down the Archmage.
I'd like to give
and here
Renaud
it
the benefit of
comes.
the doubt here, and he's going for the tanks wisely, in my opinion. Here, I think that focusing heroes with level 6 paladin is about as fruitless as trying to convince your babysitter to lay you when you're 12 and she's dating the jock senior.
An apt metaphor, however, with 3 staffs and 2 tanks, and I think it's pretty unlikely that he's going to manage to kill a tank either. Maybe focusing a breaker would be a good idea for the experience, although, as I pointed out earlier, the paladin will just bring it back to life. He takes
Absolutely.
one back down. It really is tough to fight human at this point. And I'm not sure who Persuade is saying is still 100. Worpex is 74, so it's got to be him, I presume.
Yeah.
And Renaud says, yes, I did actually scout. I'm currently killing the person that was killing your base, so thank you very much. Persuade lost more there than I expected he would. He managed to lose 2 tanks and 2 breakers, did not revive either of them. Maybe I give him too much credit, and this is why he doesn't win semifinals, because he's not that good. Worpex, interestingly enough, going for Renaud. I do not know why he's doing this. This seems like a awful choice.
Oh dear. I mean, maybe he's feeling especially confident, but there's no reason that. Where's your confidence coming from, Worpex? You have 5 buildings left. I can't get behind this.
No,
6
I
buildings.
think
I
this is game
can't
over.
get behind this line of play at all. I was going to comment before that I think that. Oh dear.
Poor Worpex.
Some chat.
Yes,
Some
that's the
chat
reason you're not
misinterpretation.
dead.
Oh dear.
And unfortunately, this is how many games will end, is just a simple misunderstanding or a simple screw-up. You miss one thing, and bam, there you go. The game changes entirely. The dynamics are all different. And I'm not sure that this is game over per se. However, I do think that this is going to be a lot of trouble.
I see this as an incredibly smart play. I see this a lot from high-level players. They'll scout the corners. This is exactly the time where you want to be scouting the corners, checking to see for those hidden chims that Renaud and many good elf players are famous for. Constant scouting is the sign of a great free-for-all player.
Yep, and in addition, he was using his arcane towers with the ability to scout earlier. Persuade has done a pretty good job of scouting overall this game. Renaud and Worpex, not quite as much, letting Persuade mine for 4,000 gold on that last expansion, which, if there's only 1 gold mine left, everybody should have something there. Worpex ended up putting the beetle there later, but it was a little bit too late, and he only spotted Renaud. Renaud could just go ahead and put a wisp there. You just want to know when somebody goes over there so you can start checking it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say that the moment in time where Worpex first attacked Renaud was the big mistake that topped the tower towards Persuade. But for a moment there, I changed my mind. And then I definitely changed my mind when he went and killed the Warden.
Yeah,
So,
that was probably
yeah.
the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, I
Renaud
mean,
is
I think the
very
camel
good,
was
though.
already falling.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
However,
ahead.
Renaud is good about not letting it get too emotional and personal. I still think he will help Warpex try and take down Persuade, and this game could end up
I
still
agree.
being relatively close. It depends on how well Persuade can handle getting hit from two sides, because I gotta believe that the Panda and Warden are going to go from one side, and Warpex's army will go from the other. Warpex needs to be
If he
careful
loses his
not to
panda
lose any
here,
more units, so that Panda's not going to die. It's a human. He's still got the
he
ultimate, he's got
could.
staff,
Gotta
he's
get
got
the. Yeah.
vulnerability. Making them go ahead and waste those staffs, though, and then being able to take down the tanks is a pretty good strategy here. So he's used two
He had
staffs.
one left.
Yep. And the one left is actually on the Panda, which is currently out of commission. So he now could take down a unit, should he be able to get in striking range to do so while that Panda is healing, because the human staff, you're not allowed to move the unit until it's finished healing completely, obviously.
But there you go ahead and get the Holy Light of Freedom.
Yep.
So it's back in action already.
And the staff
You got a
have
Death and Decay, a rather
with it.
shallow Death and Decay, I might add. But I guess that's where that checkerboard that Persuade was building earlier comes in handy. But he does have no way of silencing this, so it's either focus it down or lose all the towers. I think lose all the towers is the most likely outcome here.
Probably.
Getting
And
really low on
Worpex,
those
Yep, those
Death
worms
Knights.
are
I mean, those.
making me a little nervous here. There's a nice little slowdown.
We're gonna
on
get a
which,
Holy
there
Light and the
goes one
snipe.
down.
Yep.
But I liked Warpex's idea of managing to try and slow everybody down. And Renaud is doing a nice job here of killing all the critters on the map to prevent that mass teleportation. Renaud
Absolutely.
is doing exactly what you described earlier in scouting for hidden armies. And Renaud needs to communicate a little bit with Worpex, or maybe more aptly, Worpex needs to learn to communicate with Renaud so they can do a nice teaming here. Here comes the Breath of Fire down. Oh, nice juke. Does not save it, but appreciate it as well.
Yeah. I think Rito's plan right now is, akin to what I was describing before, where let the two stronger players fight, get them to lose their army on each other, and then swoop in at the last moment with more. Because really what it comes down to is if you can get decent heroes, even if you lose all your gold, or all your army, or all your base, even if you have nothing else but your heroes, eventually, if the fights are even, and the teaming is correct, everybody should get down to level 0, and as long as your heroes are contenders, you still have a shot.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And another area where human excels is it's pretty damn hard to take those bases down. Although elves do have
Absolutely.
a bit of an advantage with the moonwells. You have to go truly for the base kill and not focus on any units if you're trying to get in for a base kill there. Warpex also going around and killing critters. I'm not sure if his was for the carrion beetles or if he was trying to prevent mass teleportation, or maybe both. But still, it's good that they're both aware of the fact that Persuade does have mass TP, and they should not let anything into the base that looks slightly suspicious.
You say both weird.
What?
You say both weird.
Both?
Booth? Booth?
Yeah, you're from New Jersey too.
Yeah, whatever. We all say both. It's like, never mind. I'm going to focus on the game. Anyhow, so Renaud out of gold completely and running around killing critters. Let's discuss that some more.
I'm not really sure there is anything else to discuss. I think your abrupt change of topic was not very well picked here, and it's only getting more awkward from here. So let's go ahead and focus on the chat, because oh, here we go. We got a little fight that can take our mind off of everything. Persuade has
At
got
last,
some inner fire
action.
on the tanks. Good choice
choice.
here. Yep, increasing the armor up,
13 armor.
and that actually completely negates the corruption. So that's a nice little bonus for him, because corruption is one of the few things that is very effective against tanks. If Renaud is feeling it, he might... never mind, he has no gold. I was going to say he could go ahead and make a Druid of the Talon to cast some Fairy Fire and keep an eye on Persuade as well as weaken some of the tanks, but obviously the point's moot since he's sitting on 50 gold.
Yeah. I anticipate that Renaud's game plan right now is to watch them fight until they're both weak enough where a single swoop of Chims comes in and can, base race. I think that what he really wants here is to help Worpex as much as he can once he's ready by chipping away at this human base. And as soon as Persuade is as good as dead, he's going to sell all his items, make 10 Chims, and then go for the base kill. I think that's the play. I think that's his only chance.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I think it also depends on how well they can team him down, though, because going in from two angles like this is very effective, and aside from the Keeper of the Grove, he doesn't have any weak heroes going on, and Persuade does not have the ability to nuke anything. Renaud really has the ability to go and kill whatever he wants in the base without any trouble. His only trouble in terms of getting his heroes killed would be from Worpex, who could focus him down pretty quickly.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's trying to get Renaud on their side right now because, frankly, the fight is pretty even between Persuade and Worpex at the moment.
Yep, Persuade is going ahead and killing off some of his extra farms. I'm not sure if he's making a pathing choice or trying to play even weaker.
Yeah, he was trying to. Yeah, he was trying to get out. Oh, he was trying to kill the tower to appear less strong. Wow, I stand corrected. I do think that the tanks were trying to get out, though.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. And he has managed to save the arcane towers, which are the important ones for scouting, and they are well positioned in the back of the base, which will make it harder to kill them. Worpex continues to chip away. Let's see if he can grab that tank. There it goes, one down. So
there was a misclick on that tank, on that staff rather.
Panda went bye-bye.
Panda was like, hey, I wanted to fight too. What'd you do that for?
See if it had been ultimate.
Not looking so great.
Nope. Let's see, but he gets that staff, and he leaves it with plenty of time to spare that time. Worpex has got to be very careful about these Frostworms, though, because they are going down very quickly. I'd like to see a nice Death Coil on the
This is a decisive battle. What does Renaud choose to do? Looks like he wants to get rid of those worms. I don't know if I agree with this decision. I think the human player is going to hold out a lot longer than he thinks. Renaud, maybe Renaud's just pretending to be engaged. He's the master chameleon.
Well, he continues to
He's
try
chipping
and
away at
chip
some
away a little
farms.
bit. Yep. I think Renaud is just keeping his options open at this point. He doesn't need to make any decisive actions because he's being viewed as the weakest, mostly because of the fact that Worpex only has 6 buildings, I think. Let's see. Yep, 4. Yeah. I'm not sure if they're aware of the building in the top left, but that would not be very hard to find. And Persuade just has a human base, which nobody wants to deal with. Let's see
what is that item on the ground there?
I'm trying to
Lesser and Villain Pally down. Oh, he lost the Paladin and he was trying to transfer.
Yep. Interesting.
Maybe he's doing this on purpose?
I doubt it. I think that he just messed up on a click there.
I think he's really desperately wanting Renaud's help here. What I find interesting is I think that in terms of gold, Renaud is obviously Worpex, but I think Renaud has the most gold here. If you count up the items, look at those expensive items. Crowns, I think, are worth 500 apiece.
That's correct, yep.
And he's got 3 of them. The pendant is 250 or 350, I can't recall. Runebaser's 250, Roots of Speed 250, that Wand of Illusion. He's got a lot of gold stacked up in here.
That is good, and something that they probably aren't going to think of. That that Warden almost goes down again. And that was the terrible Breath of Fire.
Yeah. But it's always interesting to make sure that you consider all the ins and outs. You have to think about every situation. When you're down to the wire like this, people will sell their own mother for a little bit of gold, and they'll hide their gold as best they can. So paying attention to what items are on what heroes to the very, very end is incredibly important when predicting someone's gold, because it's safe to say right now all players could probably assume that everybody has sub 2k safely, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody's hiding more than 2k, because hiding more than 2k at this point would be foolish when it's coming down to bases are getting chipped away at. If you're hiding more than 2k, at this point you're either hiding an army, which none of them are because they've all scouted well, or you're hiding 1,500 maybe. just in case you lose a hero, sort of like what Persuade's doing right now. So, paying attention to those items, paying attention to things that, like the mine, just that extra. Everybody gets paranoid about that extra little gold. One coin. It's all about that balance. It's all about that balance. And drop one little penny on the one hand, and the whole thing's gonna topple over. So, but the best metaphor I can think of in free for all is a balancing act.
So if you were Worpex at this point, what would you be doing with your gold? He cannot revive his heroes. He does not have the ability to get enough open space for that. And he's not going to be able to rebuild anything unless he loses pretty much everything. At that point, it's going to be game over anyway. I would like to see him at least pick up an extra scroll of teleportation on both of his heroes, the Lich and the Crypt Lord at this point. I think that if you have that gold and it's not going towards anything else, you might as well spend it on items to improve your odds.
It's interesting that you say that. I think that losing the heroes right now would be extremely bad for Worpex, so there's a lot of value in what you say. There is the other side of the coin, however. That's not good for Renaud at all.
No, he has lost his heroes more than I've seen in a while recently. I'm not sure if he's having a few connection issues or if he's just tired, but certainly not one of his better micro.
Looks like Worpex is feeling confident. Ooh, there's a nice blink juke there. He's got lots of Moonwell juice. Oh, come on, you gotta get the panda back in here, buddy. Gotta heal it up.
There's
gotta get some fate. Gotta get some haze. Use those Moonwells while they still last. Very good.
Here comes Persuade.
Persuade's here to help.
I would not be that
They're gonna
surprised
try
to
and
see
focus down
Persuade finish off Renaud. If I was in his shoes, I think that completely killing Renaud wouldn't be a bad idea because Worpex has so few actual buildings left that it would not be hard to kill him.
Yeah, it's very true. I don't know getting back to your question from before, I think that Worpex is in a delicate situation because he doesn't have any way to res if he loses. It would be valuable to try and keep them. On the other hand, he really doesn't want to have to TP and give away the location of his last necropolis because Persuade is one of those players that, unlike me, can tell exactly where someone's TP'd to based on something. It has to do with where they're facing, or I don't friggin' know. But the teleportation does give away the location of your last farm, from what I understand.
That's true, but at the same time, don't you think it would be better to give away where that necropolis is than to completely lose the heroes? And maybe even if not buying teleportation, then at least buying some good items. I mean, he could afford to get another... he's actually left the worms and the behind, and he has just now realized that he has gargoyles, so those are going away. But maybe buy a... it's a tough act because if he buys a Crown of Kings, they're going to think he's rich.
Thing is this:
2,000 gold.
2,000 gold looks like a lot right now, but really what you have to remember is that 2,000 gold is not a lot of gold. And as soon as those worms inevitably go down, because that's all that those two players care about right now, as is made very obvious. As soon as those worms go down, he's dropping down. That 2k gold really could come back. As soon as he could go down to basically nothing. I mean, ultimately, I think that spending up to 5, 7, 50, even 800 of this gold is probably a decent idea, as you're suggesting. But leaving just a little wiggle room for the last case scenario, they kill all of his army, they think he's dead, they start fighting, he rebuilds that acolyte, gets his heroes back up. His heroes are incredibly valuable, so if he loses them and has no option, if that necropolis is still alive, it's the what ifs. You have to plan for the what ifs at this situation because there's so what's going to happen.
Yep, that's true, although I would like to point out that rebuilding, he would have to lose all but one of his heroes. He would have to rebuild a ziggurat,
yes.
He would have to rebuild the altar, and then rebuild the heroes from there. So I think at that point I've seen weirder things happen, but I would not like his chances. I'll go that way.
I agree with you, and that's why I think that you're probably right. But playing the devil's advocate is one of Redkeekee's favorite hobbies.
And interestingly enough, Persuade is going to go ahead and try and kill the base here. Probably a wise move, and he's only brought enough units that he can staff them all out and then teleport away if need be. And he just uses mass teleportation anyway, a very nice choice. He kills off one of the buildings, weakens one to 130 hit points, and then the crypts are medium, the boneyard's medium. Renaud's going to go ahead and try and kill that. And I'm not really sure what Renaud's game plan is here right now. I wonder if this is just some sort of latent revenge for killing off the Warden earlier, but...
Yeah, he really can't afford to see either player lose right now. If he's forced into a 1-versus-1 situation against either of these players, he just dies. He needs to continue to play the weakest, play dead, and play, just shut your face. Watch, pretend to help whoever's weaker. He really needs to bide his time here and stop losing heroes so that you can make that secret Chim army that I was talking about. Come on, Renaud! I like the number of Chim roosts he has, though.
He has sold off... Interestingly, he added an extra Crown of Kings to the Warden to allow it to go harass and stuff, I suppose. So that's kind of
a little extra mana for more blinking.
And a little extra hit points so that it doesn't instantaneously die.
Absolutely.
And Persuade has figured out that there is the last of the Necropolises up here, I believe. Or he's just scouting, but he is certainly coming awfully close to it, and if Worpex could see, he turns it, maybe he doesn't know it's there. Maybe he's just checking up on the gold mine. He's currently using his scout towers. Let's see if it goes ahead and... Yes, it is a very long game to cast.
It is a long game to cast. I really am surprised that I haven't seen any invisibility. Ooh, he stole the beetle. Very nice. Yep. Some invisibility scouting around and mass teleporting going on. Ooh, looks like we're going to see the TP, last TP of Worpex go down here pretty soon if he doesn't want to lose this. Or maybe he'll just sacrifice it.
I think he's going to sacrifice it.
Yeah, there's really not much point because mass teleport will make it a fruitless effort.
Yep. And Worpex does a nice job of at least focusing down those arcane towers, kind of blinding Persuade a little bit. Let's see,
looks like
Persuade's going to ignore it.
Go for the win here.
Go for the base kill. So that's going to leave Renaud. I don't know what Renaud's doing.
Renaud's going to probably have to. Renaud's going to have to stab, but I think it's too late. I think this game is completely over now. I can't see a situation. Renaud's got to sell and pump or do something. Oh no! Bye bye Worpex.
And this is where not having that Priestess of the Moon is a problem for him.
He realized a little too late. See what I told you? 20 minutes earlier with humans. 20 minutes earlier than you think.
Hey, I'm fine.
Oh, Renaud, you're in trouble now.
Rule of thumb: if it gets to a 3-way, team out the human. If there's no human, team out the orc. So that's always done pretty well by me in the past.
All right, you gotta sell. You gotta sell. And pump.
He is
Sell and pump.
Not selling.
Renaud, you are disappointing, Papa.
Yep, I don't know. I don't see a whole lot of options for Renaud to pull this off. If he did go ahead and sell and manage to make that massive Chim army, then that would certainly be helpful at least. However,
the thing is that I don't think that he can win 3 heroes versus 3 heroes, let alone 3 heroes versus 3 heroes and 2 tanks.
I agree with that. I think that the heroes eventually will just pretty much end up nulling each other out unless somebody makes a mistake.
Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. I don't know. The keeper's gonna die eventually. But the Moonwells, this could go. Maybe I'm not giving the Warden enough credit. Let's see how it goes here.
The Warden is certainly powerful, however...
there's some good micro from Persuade going.
Yep.
Looks like we're going to try and kill down here. Tanks.
Yep, there goes. So those tanks...
I'm looking for a Cyclone on a...
He's got 2 staffs
available. I'm looking for a Cyclone on a Paladin soon.
And there's kind of a preemptive Divine Shield there. Probably a nice choice because he realizes exactly what Renaud's game plan is going to be.
He knew the Cyclone was coming, and preemptively saved his Archmage. But Shadow Strike is nothing to balk at. This might actually turn out to be an interesting hero arena after all.
It's possible, but I mean,
looks like
I just don't see either one of them winning. Honestly, I think that Renaud is easily able to get his heroes away and save them, and I think he's got probably more DPS going on for him. However, that Paladin is just going to make it really tough to kill anything. There goes a nice
Tangle.
Yep.
Gotta get a surround. Come on, Renaud, surround.
However, that
There's
Divine
gonna be
Shield's
a
still
staff.
going on, and he's got Staff. He's going to go ahead and... Oof.
Mass teleport.
Yep.
And then they've both got fountains. We could be in a stalemate for all of eternity here. How long was this game been going on? It's 10:30.
I don't want to go 30. I have to get up at 6.
That breaker is champion. He has been chipping away at that lich for the longest time.
And Persuade is going ahead and actually putting up another expansion currently.
And that is the moment. That could be the balance tipper. I think that's incredibly wise. These 2 tanks are going to be a pretty big deal.
Yep, so Persuade will go ahead and send those down, and then mass teleport on top of them, I presume. And spend some time, I guess he can just kill Worpex's army for fun. It doesn't do him a whole lot of good. Ooh, we've got a nice little invisibility going on here. I'm not sure what the purpose is.
I was just about to say, I'm really looking for the invisibility play. I was just about to bring that up. I'm glad that he did it. Invisibility is an incredibly valuable skill here. And Renaud not knowing where he is, and with no Priestess of the Moon to see this, he can just pop up out of nowhere, kill a couple buildings, especially with 2 units that both have building damage, whatever.
Let's see.
Spells that damage buildings.
He does indeed sacrifice that tank, actually. So he's thinking invisibility is more important in getting the jump on, doing some damage here. Renaud is pretty split out here, so that'll help him. And he's currently moving his Tree of Eternity out there to get it out of harm's way.
Yeah, hiding trees is incredibly important in this point of the game. All Night Elves should focus entirely on spreading trees with their last gold in a situation like this. Unless you want to do that surprise Chem army. There's really sort of 2 options. It's hide the trees and try to race, or... Well, it looks like he's turned.
Well, and those aren't mutually exclusive either. Hiding Chim army and hiding trees has been known to work out on more than one occasion. This is almost just unfair to Renaud here, having to fight against Persuade with unlimited mana for
we got
the Paladin.
Lots of pandas going on here. That Divine Shield lasting forever. I think he took level 3 Divine Shield. Yep, level 3 Divine Shield, no resurrection. Yeah. looking for a blink here.
Yep.
Looking for a blink.
There it is.
Yep.
And
this Keeper's going to be the next target.
Interestingly,
a lot of damage.
Tank is out there. Back, Keeper. There we go.
The Keeper.
There it is. Safe at last. Okay. Ooh, and so Persuade has TP'd out of there without his panda. So, come on, Renaud, chase that. Chase that, Renaud. There it is. Panda Warden is going after it. So this panda is no longer going to have its ultimate. I don't believe that it has a TP on it. We will see in a moment. It does not have a TP.
This is
this is going to be panda
moment. He's going to mass telly to it.
Yep.
Mass telly to it and try to heal. Yep, here comes. We're going to get the heal.
Nice save. Well done, Persuade.
Yes,
Unfortunately, that was a great opportunity for Renaud there, but he's going to be able to use both heal and to staff it out. And don't let that Warden die. There we go. Nice blink. Save it.
This is really where you need that Mountain King. The Mountain King would just make mincemeat out of the Keeper of the Grove with only 725 hit points, but...
I think we're going to see Persuade go for a base kill. I think he's just going to keep mass teleporting in and just trying to take those buildings down because nobody's gaining any traction right now. I have to give it a little bit of advantage to Persuade in the Hero Arena currently, but not by a whole lot. And with the Moon Walls currently recharging at full go and the Mana Fountain there, Keeper's going to remember
it's just a base thing now. That's really all it comes down to. It comes down to who's going to be able to kill the other's buildings. And with Mass Teleport, Blizzard, Panda, Renaud's just going to be stuck continually running back home.
Yep, and Persuade has started mining again, so he'll manage to get about 2,000 gold after all's done. Renaud actually is going to realize that.
Yeah, this could be a moment.
Do the same thing. Persuade.
If he had more trees, I'd say march him
there. So Renaud does have a TP on 2 heroes. I think it would be worth for him to TP in right now. Okay, he gets a staff in. Keep the Keeper of the Grove. He's going to do
double staff. Yep, that's good.
So that's a little
I think
bit
ultimately
Persuade,
March of the Ents is his only chance, to be honest. If he had more, well, he's going to try and mine instead. But here comes the mass teleport.
And if he loses this, he's no longer going to have any Trees of Life or Eternity or anything else, and that will at least show Persuade what buildings he does have. I don't think he has any other buildings hidden right now, and Persuade is probably just going to have to go and focus them down one by one, mass TP in, kill a building, mass TP out. Yada yada, take another half hour, and eventually the game will end. Theoretically, at least.
I mean, if he had more buildings that were mobile, Renaud might be able to take the fight to him, because Persuade can't win the straight-up fight. It looks like right now, it looks like he's not going to be able to win the straight-up fight. The heroes aren't dying. The Warden is putting too much spell DPS out. Ultimately, if somebody makes a mistake, could be, but the buildings is what it comes down to. There's a staff.
The staff is only taking a little bit nearby, so if Persuade plays this right and realizes where those staffs are going, then this could be some actual, let's say, Panda ulti here.
Oh, this could be the end.
Yep. So he just needs to back up and probably abandon this. Chasing down with the Paladin is not going to be the most effective thing ever. And especially when
I retract my statement. I retract my statement about him not being able to win the straight up hero fight. It's not looking great for Arena right now. No, time for a teleport right now. It's gonna buff it. It's gonna buff.
Right.
Oh no!
I suspect we'll see Renaud just go ahead and call the game right now.
Yep.
I suppose he could keep playing it stubbornly. However, a human base is going to be tough to kill. Even if he does kill this town hall here, that's not going to help him out a whole lot. Persuade safely has the hero advantage now with the Keeper of the Grove down. Warden is looking very weak. He's going to have to run to the middle and just get out of there. The Panda has used its ultimate and does have a TP. However, it's going to TP very nearby, and I'm sure Persuade realizes and will track it down. I expect it to die pretty much instantaneously right now. Nice TP as far away as possible, but haze should be going on. Let's see.
Nah, he's gonna chase it. I'd be interested to see, how do you think this game would have gone if Renaud had taken level 2 Blink, level 2 Shadow Strike? Is that what he took? Yeah, that was the GG. I'm not sure if he took level 2 Blink or level 3 Blink.
I think he went level 2 because he was blinking pretty quickly there for a while. I think he realized that it was important to be able to get away. So is there anything in particular you'd like to look at on the scoreboard here? I do notice that...
Oh, it looks like we got the 11 points for... Yeah.
In matches, if somebody does not win the game but finishes first, they get 11 points, and Worpex successfully pulled that off this game. 229 kills, the most for Worpex. He played an impressive game.
He had really high heroes there. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty standard game, a really good game to learn from, a really good game to watch, and to take a lot. There's a lot to take away from this game, I think. Undead's biggest weakness is their base. He got based. He was winning. He has the highest Worpex. If we just go from the top, Worpex, he was winning. He had the best heroes. He had the best army. He had the best everything, most gold. But his base went down. I've seen so many games from Magadansky. He's just championing it up, and then his base is all of a sudden, he's got a necropolis over there, and he's got like 2 buildings spread out, and then somebody kills him, and he's got a full army in someone's base. I've seen Worpex do that multiple times. Persuade abusing the human, everlasting heroes. The rule of thumb that I was mentioning before about keep checks on the human. It's like, you got in a 3-way, you got to keep checks constantly on everybody. But with a human player with high heroes, it's like every third thought in your head has to be, can I beat him right now? Can I beat right? If you're teaming with the human, can I beat him right now? Can I beat him right now? And if I team him, can I beat the other guy? When's the right moment to stab? When's the right moment? I think that Worpex and Renaud had a really good chance if Worpex had read Renaud's signal that he was going to backstab. I'm giving Renaud a lot of credit here. He could have just been fucking around and not doing anything. But ultimately, I think that there was a signal. Renaud was saying, I want to stab him here. Worpex, come with me. As soon as he gets into your base, let's juggernaut an Archmage here. But he didn't read that. Instead, he killed the Keeper of the Grove. And I think it was down the hill from there.
Yep, and it was actually the Warden that he killed at that point, which was even more crucial because that was the nuking ability. The Keeper of the Grove was important, however, it was lower level, took less gold to revive, and didn't do as much damage. But I gotta agree with you. I think that was the perfect moment to 2v1, and a lot of the times you'll just get that natural teaming and they both figure it out perfectly, but it just didn't happen this game, and that's what happens. Persuade played it nicely. In fact, I think pretty much everybody had a nice game here. It could have gone
Yeah.
any way for a while, and I think it was a great game to cast overall.
Yeah. Last, final remarks for the cast here, Mage.
Undead, you have to be very careful about managing to have multiple parts to your base. As you pointed out, it's very easy to find them. You just look for the blight spot. I think Renaud should have tried to disperse his ancients a little bit quicker to hide them and last longer. And I think that Persuade showed the power that Panda can have during a game. However, he also showed the weakness of not having that Mountain King in order to really focus it down. And Flame, we're glad you played, buddy, although you didn't stick around for very long. And it shows that you can be in trouble if you expo the wrong way. If he had played more aggressively, maybe he would have taken the advantage. However, after letting Worpex take the expo back, he should have kept that scout going just to make sure that Worpex was satisfied and wasn't going to try to exact retribution.
Indeed, I absolutely recommend every single player that's not familiar with Deathrose rewatch this replay. Watch how Persuade crept those Thunder Lizards. I think that, to be perfectly honest, I think that one of the primary reasons that Flame lost this game was because of his creep attempt, because he did not know that putting too many guys in close proximity of the slams, they were double slamming all of his footmen. All his peasants went down. He lost nearly all his footmen. Take a gander, rewatch this replay. Look at what Persuade did. If we have time now, you could probably even bring the replay up for those on the stream. There's a particular way to creep those Thunder Dragons so that you don't lose all your melee units. I think that for Flame, I think it was probably just map familiarity. Because, and not paying attention to the chat, obviously, as you already mentioned.
Yeah. I think the stream has gone on long enough, but however, once we exit out of it, they'll be able to bring it back up and they can look at it from there, or we will post the replay on freeforallmasters.net and they can view it there. I think we had a great game, and this is Mage signing out.
And this key. See you next time.